Hey everybody, it's Jessica Burrell here. Welcome to episode number 20 of Everyday Inspiring Women. I'm so excited to have my friend Stacey. I was waving at her. I was distracted because I was waving at her as I was introducing her. So, it's really interesting because I kind of started this project, just wanting to interview some friends of mine because they're all up to such amazing things. And I can't believe this is episode 20 already. So I'm doing a little mini celebration here, Stacey. So just bear with me.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, what a fun thing. There's a little bit of a delay. So I'm always nervous. I'm like, am I interrupting somebody? And I try really hard not to do that.
It's okay.
So
we're just excited to talk.
Right? I get lots of things get me so excited, but definitely talking to women about all the amazing things that they're up to is like really, really high on my list, because I know when women are doing things, really exciting things, it really gives other women permission to do those sorts of things as well.
Absolutely.
So Stacey and I met, I feel like it's almost been a year.
About a year.
Yeah. Our friend is coming up.
Pardon me?
Our friend anniversary is going to come up.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's not official till it's on Facebook.
Ain't that the truth? So we met about almost a year ago. Stacey came to one of our monthly tribe meetups, and we almost, I would say, pretty instantly connected. It's really beautiful. The thing about tribe for sure is like when you're there for authentic connection and two people are there and being pretty open, it's really easy to make a quick friendship, a quick connection, which is quick sounds like not authentic, but it actually
absolutely
is. Yeah. So,
very authentic.
Yeah, like Stacey, you're up to so many things. I always feel like I don't like introducing my guests because like there's so much to them that if I do the intro, I feel like I always leave stuff out or I don't like give it the justice that it needs. So I always like for my guests to introduce themselves and then we can jump off with some questions that I have for you from there. So tell us about you. What are you up to?
Okay. Well, geez, I'm going to forget some stuff. I'm loopy. I'm always doing all kinds of things. Yeah. So where do I start? Well, I'm married. I have a fabulous husband. I run a women's group called Women of Windsor. So there are a whole big mix of women in the group. We're heavily involved in philanthropy though. So that's sort of our number one priority is we tackle a lot of different issues that are going on in the community. We recently did a drive for street help to raise funds, clothing, and we made 200 sandwiches that day. So that was really cool because we actually fed everyone for the entire day. Because they figured that they feed about 200 people a day. So we knew that we provided enough food for them for the day with some leftovers. I also run a group called Fertility Friends. So when I get into a little bit more about my story, I'll share that I did have some fertility issues. And so I thought it would be best to start a group to help support other women because I noticed that there wasn't support groups out there in the city. And that absolutely shocked me. So I thought it's time to stop focusing on myself. Let's focus on others as well, which honestly, I mean, we can talk more about that, but it's such a healing power when you take the focus off yourself and you place that effort onto others. And there's so much going on. I have a gala that I'm organizing with two other lovely women in the city, Natalies, who works for Femme Fatale, and Kaylee Monteith, who also works for Femme Fatale, and myself. So we've been really busy organizing that, and just trying to enjoy the summer and, de-stressing.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I'm also a professor at St. Clair College, so I teach as well, which, see, there's so many crazy things going on. I forget my number one job.
Well, plus it's the summer, so you're kind of like off of.
Yeah, I am in a vacation mode, so to speak.
Yeah, well, yes, but no, right. like vacation mode
Yes,
from your job, but it's like you're busy. So, and you own a photography company.
I do. Yep, there's that too. So I specialize in boudoir photography, family photography, so maternity photos, and children's photos as well. See, thanks,
Yeah.
Jess.
Yeah.
You actually know more than I do.
I try. I think for me though, because it was that one of the first conversations we ever had, we were talking about your boudoir photos, and like I think my favorite part about them was you were talking about how instead of using Photoshop to highlight women's beauty, like because they're all beautiful, but it's like you use natural things like lighting and those sorts of things to bring those things out.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. Oh,
When I started doing the business, I found that women were really nervous about how they would appear on camera, and I wanted to change that because I do see a lot of boudoir out there, and a lot of it is focused on making women look like who they think they should be. And I really wanted to convey the message that you're beautiful no matter what. I get a lot of women saying, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds beforehand, and that's not what you need to do. You need to really, really enjoy who you are now, and that's only going to bring more goodness in the future. So you're right. I don't do airbrushing to thin people out. I do color corrections. I remove scars and bruising. Sometimes I leave scars in. I have a lot of clients who are cancer survivors, which is amazing. And we will leave those scars in if they want us to, because that's really a representation of themselves as a warrior and that they've overcome something really significant in their lives. But the whole message in it all is to love yourself.
yeah.
And so the clients that I have, they specifically come to me because they know that I'm not going to make them thinner. However, I am very, very skilled at working different angles so that you look your absolute best. Like my arms aren't necessarily my favorite thing on me, although I try and love myself completely. We all have these things that we prefer more than others. Yep. So if I know that about a woman, I position her arms so that it looks different from maybe perhaps how she might normally take a photo and not like the photo after. Right. So it's just about focusing on empowering women and making them feel really special, because life's hard, right? I mean, it's just, there's a day we're faced with things in society and on social media that tell us that we're not good enough or we're not measuring up. So we want to change that.
Yeah. Yes. Ah, I love that. So that's why I was like, right away, I'm like, yes, I love that so much. And I think it's important work. I mean, you're doing a lot of important work for sure. That was just the first thing that we started talking about when we first met. And I think that just leads into so many beautiful things. Like, how did you get here? How did you get to this point where you're like, like more of your story, like how did you get here? Like, yeah, period. Go.
Honestly, it's probably a 12-year transition period for me. Mm-hmm. A bit about my background is I grew up in a very somewhat of a violent household, in a sense that there was a lot of verbal abuse, there was alcoholism, some physical abuse, things that really children shouldn't go through. And my mom was a fantastic mother. She did the very best job she could, but there was a lot of tensions between her and my dad. And, in my dad's defense, years later, I can see that he was also raised in a very abusive household, and he didn't have all the tools that he needed to maybe make the best decisions in life. And so, I had that to sort of see as an example, and that led to a lot of mistakes in my past. Choosing the wrong partner and jumping into that relationship because I thought someone could save me.
Yeah.
Then going through almost the loss of my mother when I was 16. She almost died of a very rare disease, an autoimmune disease. And shortly after that, my dad left, and it was a very challenging, stressful time. I really lost who I was, if I had ever found it at that point, because who knows who they are at 16 to 20 years old. And then, fell into a relationship with somebody, and it was for the wrong reasons, and that didn't work out. Then immediately jumped into another relationship. and that lasted 3 years, and that didn't work out. And what I found was that I was just repeating the same patterns over and over again because I hadn't developed the tools yet to really discover for myself what was going to make me happy. So I was working a job that I was fulfilled with. I was a career actually, and I was making fantastic money, but I decided that I should leave that job. Everyone told me I was crazy, but I thought it was the best thing. So at this point now, I'm single, I'm 26. I leave my job that I have like a full-time, well-paying job at for 10 years because I want to teach. And everyone's like, you're nuts. So left that, went back to school, got my master's in education, went to Africa, volunteered, learned how to play the guitar, learned to speak French, learned the piano, learned ice hockey at 30, which I never thought I would ever be able to do, actually any of those things. Volunteered at an orphanage. That time being single, those 3 years, was the best time of my life up until that point. I finally figured out who I was. And I have to say, it was literally one of the most incredible stretches of my life up until I met my husband. And honestly, I wasn't looking to meet anyone. Of course, that's when it happens.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
And just, it's like you say, I've heard you say before, like just when your cup is full, then you can help others. Well, it was like when my cup was finally overflowing, I met the partner that I know I'll spend the rest of my life with. And he's complimentary and he lets me be me. And, I've always been a goal-getter, but that really turned up a notch when my husband and I wanted to start a family and we weren't able to do so. So we struggled through that for a period of time for a couple years. And that period was a very low period for me. I felt like I was kind of losing a bit of who I am. And so I had a moment after yoga, because yoga is really like gets us to open up. Yeah. And I'm doing some Reiki, and I love Reiki. I could do a whole conversation on that. And I had this, aha moment of like, look, Stacey, this isn't you. You need to get out of this rut you're in, this self-loathing. Like, enough's enough. You've been going through it for a couple of years. You need to get out of it. And the only way that I know how to rise above and get out of something like that is to develop empathy and give back. And I wanted to help others. So I looked for a support group. There was nothing out there. I started the fertility support group. And then I also really wanted to get involved in philanthropy. And I thought, well, what better way to do that than to not only get involved, but create a group of women who would be interested in getting involved as well on whatever level they can. And honestly, like, it's crazy to me how much things have taken off. It's insane, the things that I've been able to accomplish. I'm up for a couple amazing awards right now, which I wasn't even expecting. And it's just really, really amazing. I just found out I'm being nominated for the prestigious Edward Ducharme Award. Edward Ducharme is a judge who passed away 3 years ago. He is the brother of Patrick Ducharme, so the lawyer in the city that everyone knows about, the defense lawyer there. And he's done phenomenal work in the community. So when I found out about that, I was so touched. And regardless of the outcome, it's amazing to be nominated for something like that. So yeah, it feels good to know that when you put others first and you sort of really embrace what it means to be involved in community and give back, you really heal yourself as well.
Right.
So that's how I got here.
Oh, amazing. So
a long journey.
Right? Yeah. And I think you touched on Fertility Friends and, your own struggles. And it's amazing how little we talk, even as women, even in society, how little we talk about that loss, whether it's, the inability to conceive or, so many women who conceive and lose very, in their pregnancies and lose their baby. And, how little we talk about that and how common it is, because it's so funny because we talk about it, people think, well, no one else is suffering through this. No one else is dealing with this. So, but the second someone starts to put words around it, so many women look and they raise their hand and they say, me too, right? Like I've been dealing with this as well, and it helps people not feel alone.
Yes. And I will say that though, it's like we talk about sharing our stories. The more that I've shared that story with people, the more that I get messages from people saying, you know, thank you for sharing your story, me too. And to me, you know, I said to my husband, if I never conceived, I feel like I have done something that is so much, it sounds crazy to say, but so much bigger than myself. And by helping other people, who knows, maybe that positive energy will come back to me and I'll be blessed, right? So that's what keeps me going, and seeing these, I get beautiful messages from people now saying there was nothing out there, thank you for doing this. And it's just, like I said, it's made an incredible difference. I wish I hadn't waited so long, but you know, that hindsight is 2020, and you learn from your experiences. So
totally, that's beautiful. Yeah, I agree so much, because I think it's powerful. Sharing our story is so powerful, and you'd have to be brave for 20 seconds to share it, and the impacts are big. It's like waves.
Yes.
So like you're doing so many things, like how are you, self-care is huge, and we talk about, you know, filling up our cup. We talk about self-care a lot at Tribe, and like when you hear of someone like as busy as you are, what do you do for self-care?
I did mention Reiki. So I love Reiki. I mean, like I said, I could do an entire conversation about Reiki. It has helped me heal in so many ways. And, you know, whether that's because someone is helping to release energy, whether that's because you actually have that moment to relax, whatever the reason is that Reiki works, I'm telling you it works. It's incredible. It has released a lot of emotional blocks for me of the different things that have happened in my past. And I won't go into too much detail, but I'll say just one small example. I had a repeat nightmare that I've had for my entire life. It's crazy. And through Reiki at a last session, I sort of envisioned myself throwing that event it was a past event that happened to me that I had been dreaming about. And I envisioned myself throwing it into this huge canyon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the rocks that I was throwing in represented the trauma. And I had that dream again, but there was no dark energy or feeling in the dream. It was just an incredible release. Like, it was a bright day. There wasn't that sense of despair. And I've never had the dream since, which is crazy because I had it my whole life. And up until, like, it's been 6 months since I've had the dream. And to have the dream again, but have it be different, like the things that were happening were different, to say like, this is over now. It's like the kind of stuff that you see in the movies where you're like, yeah, right. You know, and it really happened to me. And I know that's because of Reiki. I would like to meditate more than I do. I need to do that, but you do that in Reiki as well. So, you know, that's part of it. I do yoga, and so I do yoga as well. And, really, it's just about checking in with myself mentally, sometimes having that, you know, internal chat and saying like, all right, you need to just relax. You need to take some time for yourself. And that's really what I spend a lot of time doing. I do a lot of personal reflection.
Yeah.
And that keeps me calm for most of the time.
I think yoga, like, I mean, meditation, like, I'm the same way. Like, I have a pretty consistent practice, but I think I always look at it going like, what works for me in my life too? So sometimes it's walking meditation. It's just like taking 5 minutes of my day, and I'm not meditating at my desk. I'm just taking some deep breaths and going, okay, like, and thinking about things instead of that specific time out meditation type of thing. Like, it's finding something that works for you.
Right. Exactly.
Like, so then that's good. I think all of those three things, and, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, do I have to meditate? I'm like, you don't have to, but I think it's just, if you start to try it out and see if it feels good for you, and make something work for yourself. I'm not huge into prescriptions, like you have to do this and you have to do that. I think it's trying different things and finding what works for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. That's awesome. do you feel guilty when you're taking time out for yourself, or because I talk a lot about just women feeling guilty about so many things.
I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty about taking time for myself. And in fact, I've made that a mission this year because, like most women, I put other people first. So this is the first year that I've ever really got involved with Reiki and yoga, because I said to myself, I really need to focus. Like, the outside's good if I'm working out, great, but like, what about the inside, right? What am I doing to really sort of like caress my soul and take care of that? How am I protecting that? And doing those things has made a world of difference, and it's made me a better person. It's made me more patient, more kind to others, especially more patient with my husband, which he loves. So I would definitely say that by doing those things, I've found a sense of peace, and it's not something that I did practice before. And yeah, I would spend a lot of time thinking, oh, I need to do this instead. I need to worry about this person, especially with my mom being sick. I worry about everybody else. But I decided it's time to, put more effort into myself as well, because like we say, you can't help other people unless you have completely helped yourself.
Totally. Yeah, that's huge too. And I love that how you use the word decided, like you decided to do it. Like, one little word like that is so powerful, because it's like, I try to, or I want to, or I would like to, but like, no, I've decided to do this. Like, it's so powerful. One small word makes a huge shift in that entire sentence.
For sure.
I love that. So what are you up to now? Like, I love thinking about like, what's next steps for you? And I call them themes. Like, I always have themes coming up for my life. Like, and so what would you say is like the next theme or season coming up? Pardon?
So definitely maintaining the self-love and self-care, right? It's really important. Compassion and empathy. I have made that a part of my life this year, more so than any other year, and it's been a game changer. I'm working on enlightenment, which sort of coincides with that self-love and self-care. And also acknowledging fear of the unknown. So like not being able to step into that fear, because I have been able to accomplish so many things I didn't think I would this year, simply because I said, yeah, that's kind of scary, but I'm going to do it anyways. I did the AIM 800 Cara Row show recently. I actually did one yesterday as well. So I've done 2 radio shows, and if you would have told me a year ago I was going to be on the Cara Row show doing a bit about Fertility Friends or about the gala, I would have been like, yeah, right, because I wasn't even prepared to talk about the fertility stuff. And I wasn't even involved in a gala. So those things are just mind-boggling to me, that I look at what I've accomplished. So stepping into that fear, and then growth and change, because from the fear that you experience, you can experience opportunity. Really, fear is just the breaking point of opportunity, and then growth and change comes. Love and compassion, right? I'm always very focused on that, especially in my personal relationships. And probably the biggest lesson that I've learned that I continue to really focus on is patience. God or the universe or whatever higher power we have has taught me that nothing necessarily comes without time. And that if you wait around long enough, all good things can come to those who wait. And in patience, you are able to learn a lot of life lessons, and I certainly have.
Yeah. Yeah. But we want everything, and society really helps us with this I want it now, I want it yesterday mentality, because, we can get everything instantly. It's like everything's at the tip of our fingers, but all of those really good things, and like you said, those lessons when I'm going through and I'm waiting and I'm patient, that's when the lessons are coming to us. And that's perfect.
And also just in terms of being able to give back or help other people, I really say, like, if you condition yourself to live a life that serves others, watch how your life changes. It's really incredible. And in whatever way you can, whether you run a group called Tribe, or you volunteer downtown at Street Help, or you work with children who are disabled, like you are conditioning yourself to live a life that serves others, and it is a game changer.
Totally. Yeah, because everything you do is like beyond you, like it's outside of yourself. Yeah,
right.
Agreed. That's huge. So you have so much community. Why community? Why is community so important to you?
I think there's so many different ways that you can be involved in community, and people, when they hear that word community, they think it has to do with just like our actual community in Windsor. We have a community of women. I have a community of friends. I'm involved in a community of women who do philanthropy. I have a community of women who are struggling to conceive or who have experienced miscarriages. So community to me is really just about working together with other people who essentially have the same goals and mission as you do, whatever that is. And if you're doing something that you are involved with, if you are working with other people on, it's empowering, and it's only going to lead to greater success. So I love the concept of community because it means so much, and it means so many different things.
Yeah, and agreed. And I feel like if a woman is out there feeling alone or feeling like she's the only one dealing with something, like reaching out to somebody is brave, it's scary, there's fear, but it's so important to do because it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know if we've ever had this conversation about books, but do you read? Like, are you into books? Like, what's like your favorite book of all time?
Oh, okay. I'm into a lot of self-help type books. I'm not so much into the fiction. I think the only fiction book I've ever read was R.L. Stein's Halloween Party when I was a kid, and I'm not joking. As a teacher, if you ask a lot of teachers, they'll tell you they don't read a lot because there's just no time for reading. Like, we read all day long. We're reading our textbooks and what we're teaching. So when I do read, it's things that I find really sort of fill my cup up and make me feel good. My favorite all-time book, and it always will be, is Tuesdays with Morrie. Have you ever read it?
I haven't.
I have read this book like 4 times. It's such an easy read, and it's it's a short book, but holy cow, is the message so strong. I love it, love it, love it. It's my favorite book.
I'll have to read that because my friend gifted me with one of the author's books whose name is escaping me right now, but not that one. So it's one of his other ones.
Oh, you gotta read it. It's fantastic.
I will. Okay, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know if I've ever read. I'd say, no, I lied. I read the whole Twilight series, but outside of that, I've not. I pretty much read personal development books, but I love them. Yeah. And what are you going to do?
You'll cry, though, so you know.
Yeah. I'm getting more comfortable with my tears, so we'll be fine. Oh, Stacey, thank you so much for coming and sharing everything with me. This was awesome.
I think when we were talking about the expectations and what kind of questions we were going to discuss, you asked me if I had a quote, and actually I don't have a favorite quote, but I have so many different quotes that I like that are inspirational. And I came across this one quote not yesterday, the day before, and it really struck me. So I just want to read it because I absolutely love it.
Please.
It says, a bird sitting on a tree is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not on the branch, but on its own wings. Always believe in yourself. And I love that because that's a message that I really do try and carry forth in my own life. And I think so many people can benefit from that message. So
yeah, no, I love that. Yes, thank you. Sometimes I forget what I sent, so. But that's perfect. I love it. So if people want to reach out, it was my pleasure. I loved it. I love connecting. Sometimes we did have a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning.
Oh my God. That's perfect. I'm not as tech savvy as I'd like to think I am, but it's this computer. It's old, so.
And it worked out beautifully. So we made it happen. We're persistent women. So we knew it was going to happen.
Exactly.
how can, if people want to join any of your groups, how can they get in touch with, like, I'm going to also put everything in the show notes too, but how can people get in touch with you?
Okay. Awesome. So first I'll say, if you know anyone who's struggling with fertility, if you have a friend or family member and you're comfortable approaching those people, please give them the link to my page. It's called Fertility Friends on Facebook. So if you go on there, you will see the link. And just to be clear of which one it is, it's a group of women holding hands. I also run a group called Women of Windsor, and that is also on Facebook. There's a business page called Women of Windsor YQG. You could simply go there and it will take you to the link that says visit group, or you can just type in Women of Windsor and you can request an add to the closed group. We do a lot of motivational posts on there, and I do post regularly about different community events and opportunities to get involved in philanthropy in the community. So we'd love to have you. And, Jess is in there and I'm in Tribe, and we're all in each other's groups, and it's all about supporting one another and, again, raising each other up, not competing, honoring each other as friends, and really just being supportive people. So thank you so much, Jess. It's been a real pleasure, and I'm so proud of you. You're doing awesome things, and what a cool thing I love the name of it too. It's awesome. So congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, like, it's agreed. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think it's about community and supporting each other and lifting each other up and getting out of that patriarchal theme of competition between women. So we're breaking molds, girl.
We are.
For sure. Thank you so much, Stacey. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Chat soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.